Hello, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to the TechWorks Summit. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I have to be in Cambridge this afternoon. I'm going to talk about security by design, and in particular about how the IOTSF, the IoT Security Foundation, can play, is playing, and will continue to play a huge part in translating that concept into practical reality for developers and designers. But first, I'd like to pause and think a little bit about slogans. And it seems to me that good slogans are pretty easy to compose or make up. But what is really hard is to translate those good slogans into good practice. You've only got to think of the history of politics in almost any country, and you'll find it's littered with what seemed like really good slogans, particularly at election times, that turn out in the end to be the butt of really good or perhaps really bad jokes. And we don't want that to happen to a really good slogan like secure by design. And that was really why the IOTSF was set up 6 years ago. So at that point, I think we all realized that the challenge was, how are we going to make life easy for companies, developers, designers to live up to these ideals expressed in the slogan, secure by design? And we got together a group of people with immense expertise and experience. And they drew up what is still today the IOTSF's key product. It was originally called the Compliance Framework, and it's now called the Assurance Framework. And what it seeks to do is to set out in easy to follow steps and recommendations the actions, the processes, the considerations that you need to undertake if you're going to try to build security into the design of your products. And it's proved a document of immense popularity and huge worth. And one of the reasons is that it was pretty comprehensive to start with. But the other reason is that it's a living document. It evolves as best practice changes and new ideas emerge, as new threats and new challenges emerge. So we've managed to update the document so it remains constantly relevant and will continue to do so. So governments are beginning to realize that they need to find ways to promote the provision of appropriate security in devices right across the IoT spectrum. And the key thing about this is that we at IOTSF have tried to work with some of these governmental regulatory bodies to make sure that we understand their intentions and that we can then ensure that the assurance framework is fit for purpose, that it reflects our understanding of their intentions. And that is an important feature of the product we now offer. It's an objective, impartial, free to use, easy to use product, which we strongly urge any company embarking on the IoT route to look at, consult, inwardly digest, and to use as best they can. But the IOTSF has not just been interested in talking to governments all over the world. We're also interested in talking to companies all over the world, because anyone will agree, I think, that the attempt to provide for better IoT security has to be pretty much a global effort. This is not something where eventually we want different countries to establish their own standards and regulations and processes. That would be a recipe for market fragmentation that would really undermine the prospects of global take-up of IoT. And I think, in fairness, the regulators understand that too, and they are talking to each other. And in fact, there is emerging pretty much a sort of common set of basic security criteria. But on the business side, we still don't really have a sort of network of companies in different jurisdictions looking at how they can work together to, if you like, balance the business side of the IoT security equation. And so this year, IoTSF decided to launch chapters, international chapters. And the idea here is that if you're a company anywhere in the world and you're interested in bringing together a group of other companies in your jurisdiction to look at this issue, you can do so under the umbrella of IoTSF. And the advantages are clear because we get the benefits both of being global, but also of an intense local focus. And companies that set up chapters will get the benefits, the obvious ones of networking, of exchanging best practice, of influencing, of being able to tap in to what we're trying to do globally with the assurance framework. And so we would be looking to the chapters to provide insight, wisdom, experience, advice to the next iterations of the assurance framework and to other ideas that the IoTSF will be developing in the future. So we've launched this, we've started it. There's an appeal on our website to companies who are interested to contact us. We've tried to make it easy, light touch, as relatively light in bureaucracy as it could possibly be. We studied several models before we adopted the kind of model we're now putting forward. And it would be great to see over the next year the IoTSF develop globally, you know, in every jurisdiction where there is something happening on IoT security. And as I record this, we're a few days away from launching our first chapter, which is in Bucharest in Romania. And that's important because Bucharest in Romania is going to be the site of one of the European Union's IoT security or digital security agencies. So this is, you know, I mean, as they say, may you live in interesting times. This is an interesting time. It's a time of change and development and I think forward movement on the security debate. It's an exciting time for IoTSF. We've done a lot so far and we're proud of what we've done. But I think as I look ahead, probably if I could end on another slogan, the best is still to come. Thank you very much.